Welcome back to Fitness, Sickness and Our Complex Minds. I'm Stuart Bardin, and today we're going to go through the history of my mental health, the early days. I'm probably going to do this in two parts. I want to talk about when I first maybe had some experience with it, what I felt, what I went through, now looking back on what I've learned as well. So we'll go through that today, and I'll do a second part really soon. I was having a bit of self-doubt leading up to this video and starting to question what I was actually doing and why I'm actually doing this. And I think that's natural when you start anything new, and it could have easily put me off. I was really struggling with it yesterday. I've had a couple of bad days with my health, not mentally, but physically, as I'm going through this acid reflux issue. And I started to question, what am I trying to achieve here? Is there even a point to what I'm doing here? And after speaking to a few of you guys and some pep talks, and being in the groups, the forums, and then kind of seeing the suffering that's going on every day, I was like, no, stick to your guns, Stuart. Keep doing what you believe in, and if you feel like it's the right thing, keep pushing forward with it. And we all have those days. So, and also I thought, am I opening up too much of myself? What's going to happen when I finally, get better and I'm back to work? Am I going to be looked at differently? Oh, you're the PT that you had mental health issues, didn't you? All of those things play in my head. So battling through those and realise, no, it's the right thing to do. Okay, so let's get into it, I guess. So where did it all start? Where did I first start realising that I was having some issues? I think the thing is, I didn't even know I was having them. And this is why it's important to have this discussion, because sometimes you won't even know that you're having a mental health issue. And I think as well, people don't really understand what I mean by mental health either. I think they go, there are different levels, and I think people just go to real extremes of it, which there are many people suffering with. But you'll notice some signs, some really simple signs that you might be struggling, okay? Because although we say mental health, a lot of the issues you'll get with mental health is physical, and it will spiral you off into all other directions, okay? Every emotion you have comes with a physical symptom, okay? So that's why when we say mental health, I kind of struggle with that word a little bit, because yes, there's a process, there's trauma going on that you've absorbed through here. But once the brain is affected, it will run through the body. It will cause damage. If you're nervous, you normally get, you might need to go to the toilet, or you might have a stomach ache, or if you're stressed, you'll have a headache. There's always a sign, okay? Okay, so I guess looking back, and I'm doing this kind of as I speak to you, so I might be a bit jagged, but looking back, I remember in my early 20s, around about 23, I remember just being tired a lot, and well, I had insomnia. Okay, that might be one of the first signs that crops up with a lot of people when you can't sleep, because when you can't sleep, that will affect your complete bodily function. You won't be able to perform at work. If you're not performing at work, you become more stressed. You can become more stressed. You become more depressed because you're not performing. It's a massive spiral. Okay, so sleep was a big deal, but it was extreme. I wasn't really sleeping at all. And then from that, I noticed that I was feeling detached and not myself. Depersonalization is called. You don't feel in your body. I felt detached from my body. I felt like I was looking at myself from outside my body. So I'm having sleeping problems, chronic depersonalization. There's depression going on because I can't understand it. And I was in a relationship at the time, and I know the relationship wasn't good because I could tell I couldn't be me. You know, I think my general personality is that of quite, well, I'm definitely more introverted as I've got older. But I think back then I was very, very extroverted, and I think over time, what has happened is going through trauma, I've become more introverted and hidden away a little bit more, although that wouldn't look like to everyone. So that was the early 20s. I was going through that. I noticed when I was at work, when I was talking to people, I was probably having some social anxiety there because I couldn't engage in the kind of conversations I wanted to. I did, when I was talking, I felt like I was standing outside and listening to myself. So there's a bunch of stuff there that was happening. Now, I remember going to get help, but I remember I was a lot less educated back then. I remember being told about anxiety. I remember having shortness of breath as well. I remember being told about it, but I just did not get it. I didn't research. Back then as well, the internet was around, of course it was, but it's not like now where everyone's I don't think the information was there as much, or I definitely didn't look for it. So I was given this information. I think I was told about counselling, but I just didn't understand what I was going through. I think this is the problem. A lot of us just don't know what we think. We're just gonna get better. We think, oh, I'm stressed, I'm tired. We don't want to encroach on anyone, so we don't say anything, you know. So that was my first experience, and I went through some counselling, and I remember and this is all quite hazy for me actually, looking back. The counselling I went through, I feel like it helped me back then, but because I didn't even know my own feelings, I didn't even know what to tell the counsellor. It's not till now I understand so much more. I get what I'm going through. So I had some counselling, and this is how my life has been really with my mental health. Is I've had some low moments, suffered with severe crippling anxiety and self-doubt and obsessive thoughts and intrusive thoughts, and trying to be a perfectionist, which will drive you crazy. It sounds like it's a good thing being a perfectionist. Not that I'm ever really brilliant at anything, but even the things that I might do good are not good, you know, so I'm never happy, so I'm always stressed. So I think as time went on, what was happening is I was, now looking back, although I don't regret it, I was drinking a lot, I was participating in drugs, I was partying a lot, and some of it was great fun, and I'd done it willingly and had fun. But I do look back and realise that I was masking trauma, whatever that may be. I'm still working out all of those things. I haven't got the answers. I'm still working that out. But I was masking something, and we do this in this country. We like to drink. People do drugs. People stay in the fog so they don't have to deal with the reality of life, because the reality of life is fucking hard. It's hard work, and I don't want that all the time. I want to de-stress. Now, some people can balance it. Some people are really good at balancing it. I obviously weren't, because it got out of control. So I'd have times where I was good and bad and stuff like that, and you know, I achieved some stuff. I worked. You know, I had a few different jobs, but what became noticeable, and I look back now, and it was happening just up until recently, really, is the amount of time I would have off work. And probably, if you're watching this and you ever employed me, I had a lot of time off work. I did. Now, I'd say 70% of that time, looking back, was due to my mental health, because I couldn't cope. I used to be so fatigued, and I still get fatigued. I used to be so fatigued, and worried, and I never thought I was that good at anything. And sometimes if my anxiety was really high, which I didn't understand what it was then, if it was really high, I couldn't function mentally. I wanted to be good, and I would listen, and I wanted to, make things happen. But my brain, when you're so stressed out and you're full of worry and thought, your brain will shut you down and you can't think straight. And that would happen to me. I've actually had that in so many of my jobs, and I had time off, and then having the time off would put more pressure on myself because I think I'm going to get sacked, and people don't like me, and it would spiral. And all of this time, if I would have just got more help and tried to understand, or reached out and explained, I used to keep it all in. I wouldn't tell anyone that I worked for that I was feeling low, or if I ever did once or twice, I didn't explain it well enough. So I think what we're looking at is from my early 20s up to about all through all of my life, really. I've been going through it, to be honest. I've been trying to just do it myself for a lot of the time. It's not really until COVID where I've had a manifestation and worked on myself and tried to work out what's actually wrong with me. So counselling and depersonalisation and anxiety and having all these thoughts, and I just want to, I think the reason for me doing this video is that I think I'm no different to anyone. Okay, I guarantee you most of us have had these feelings. It's about recognising it and not letting life go by and having to suffer for so long. I mean, if I would have just spoke out a little bit earlier and not had this bloody stigma where I'm thinking I'm being weak or I'm any different to anyone else, because my problem was, I was like, no, he's all right over there. Like, she's okay. They're working fine. I'm fucking having this. I'm gonna, I'm working. I'm pushing through. I can do this on my own. Let's normalise it. Let's normalise it. It is fine. If you're just sick, you're just unwell, there's nothing bad about that. It happens to all of us. If you're mentally struggling, you're not sleeping, you're anxious, you're fearful of going into work, which doesn't feel normal, or you're having panic attacks getting on the bus, go to your doctor, reach out, talk to your good mate who can help you, reach out, go on the message boards, check what, seek refuge, get help. It's okay. Be confident about it. It is nothing. We have to understand that. If I would have known that earlier, I might have been able to get things kick-started sooner. Instead of me having to go through so much bloody sickness and hit rock bottom, to be here now and do videos and that I hope help people. I could have maybe done that earlier. But yeah, so normalise it. Let's get rid of the stigma. It's totally fine. You're having panic attacks, you're stressed out, you've got depression. Yeah, we'll sort this out. We'll get this sorted. It's okay. It's okay not to be okay, isn't it? And people are suffering more now than ever, especially with COVID, because I have talked to some of you guys. I know how much we are suffering. Okay? So just be careful of the early signs, sleep deprivation, feeling nervous or anxious or on edge, not being able to sleep, being restless, being snappy. These were all the early signs for me. Okay, guys, I'm going to do a part 2. I'm not sure I covered everything I wanted there, but some of these videos I could talk for an hour easily. But I know our attention spans are a little bit short nowadays, so I totally understand. If you stuck around for this long, thank you so much. Okay, guys, look, thank you for the support. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe as well. Let's support this, support the message. Let's get it out there. Like, subscribe. I'm losing my train of thought now, aren't I? Like, subscribe. Click the little bell if there's a little bell. I don't even know if my page has a little bell. And yes, thanks for the support. I've been Stuart Bardin. This is Fitness, Sickness and Our Complex Lives. And I'll see you on the next episode. Thank you so much.